Force. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Dyad in the Force. We got some awesome stuff.
Cal 4 became joined Squadron 7.
Hey! Cal 4, new squadron member.
Harith Productions became joined Squadron 7.
These are resubs. Thank you guys for continuing.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure Pep is happy to have you. But yeah, today we have some awesome stuff. I'm so excited for this book, Shadows of the Sith. We got an excerpt that dropped, and boy howdy. Also some celebration guests to talk about, and a little Deborah Trout interview that I think has some pretty big connotations moving forward. So yeah, we'll jump into that right now. How you doing this week, Pep?
I'm doing well. I'm more interested in how you're doing, because like it seems that you have been like just having a rough week.
Yeah, I've been MIA. It's just work. It's just tax season, and work just like grinds you into the dust. And then by the time I get off, my brain is just mush. Like it can't do anything. So I've been going to bed early and just not fully functional. You probably have noticed I haven't even made a whole lot of content this week. No,
that's true.
Just can't,
Well, I mean, things have been going well with me.
Thanks.
I mean, it is what it is. I can't really offer you any kind of consolation, but I will say, reply to messages. At least. We also just finished Half-Blood Prince yesterday, so Choco is on the penultimate movie, which you will be watching on April 8th, which is in 2 weeks. So if you want to be part of that journey, please consider joining Squadron 7 today.
Additionally, I think after we finish the Harry Potters, we're going to watch Strange Magic, because I haven't seen it and I'm excited to, and I'd love to watch it with all y'all. I'm just throwing that out there.
Also, shout out to Cal for the 8-month membership. Thank you so much, Cal, for being an awesome friend. And 7, looking.
Found someone you have, I would say.
Yeah, it's like that. Shout out to Eric Carter, Escape Reality Films, St. Pat, and Jordy Jedi Connor. So it's a chill episode this week. We have no guests. I feel like I started this as like every other week we would have guests, but like I've just been like scheduling people when they're available, and it has kind of lost its rhythm. So sometimes we're just gonna have just the two of us.
I like it better this way, though. It's just like it's chill. We get to relax and kind of roll with the punches,
Yeah. Choco is. Well, that was late, but there it is. Oh wait, no, it's not. Jacobo Alvarez
Solis subscribed to the channel.
Thank you for subscribing. And I guess I think I recognize that name from the TikTok live that we were in. So thank you so much. Legacy of Naboo. Choco is watching Harry Potter. He just watched Half-Blood Prince, and he's on Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Yeah, for the first time. And if you know how Half-Blood Prince ends, I'm very sad.
Yeah, he's getting through it. But we've got a support system, don't worry. So, Deathly Hallows
The
Part
only
1.
way out is through.
Deathly Hallows Part 1 will be in 2 weeks. So, consider becoming a Squadron Mevin Sember.
Mevin Sember.
Consider becoming a Squadron 7 member today, and joining the public Discord and getting your access to the watch-alongs. Also, another announcement. Let's see here. Yoink. Respawn just announced the Flex, which is a sexy chair. And SH4T is kind of peeking out in the bottom left. Yeah, if you're looking for a chair, if you're looking for some desktop products to upgrade your setup, go to respawnproducts.com, use the code element7 or Darth Choco for 5% off of your order, and it does stack. It does stack on sales. I think currently right now you can get $20 additionally off for signing up to their mailing list. So you get $20 plus the 5% discount using our codes. So you can do that and be amazing. And I think this one too, this card right here is missing a logo because I lost my hard drive a couple of weeks ago. So, but this is Level Up Lightsaber. You can see the logo. Let me try to fix this live. We're gonna fix this live. Not the logo, but we're gonna fix this. Yoink, right there. Okay. So Level Up Lightsaber, Master Allen, awesome dude, has some great lightsabers, great prices. If you are looking for lightsabers and you're looking for a trusted lightsaber fabricator or a lightsaber vendor, go to Level Up Lightsaber or 7theelement.net/lightsabers to get your lightsabers today. He will, pack your orders live on TikTok if you follow him on TikTok too. So that's like an added trust bonus. What is that? +1 to trust. Yeah, Choco is recovering from last night. He's still doing it. It's rough. But yeah, as Choco said,
Albus.
As Choco said, we are going to be talking about a whole bunch of things, but the first thing we do want to talk about is the celebration guests that were announced. So our first celebrity guests for Star Wars Celebration is our Ashley Eckstein, Anthony Daniels, and Ian McDermott. We have Ahsoka, 3PO, and Palpatine. And I don't know how all this works at Celebration, but I'm fixing to meet all of them and all of the others that are about to be announced too, because I need to put a microphone in Ashley's hand and have her say, "I'm Ahsoka Tano, and this is Dyad in the Force." And I'm going to put that in the intro.
Yeah.
Or just have Ian McDermott. I'll have like both. And I'll just have Ahsoka say, "I'm Ahsoka Tano, and this has been Dyad in the Force," and that's like the ender. And then Ian McDermott does Unseen for Generations, so Dyad evolves.
That'd be sweet. Yeah. I really do want to meet Ian McDermott though. I'm just about to like start a whole series of like why I love Palpatine. He's like, as a Sith, he's such a great character. And, on the high ground, we just did the Revenge of the Sith episode. And rewatching the film, the subtleties with which he plays it, how that guy can chew the scenery so hard, yet still play with so much subtlety, I will never understand. I think he just killed it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just excited to meet all of them, and I hope that Ewan and Hayden make an appearance as well, because their show is kind of like premiering the day before. But we'll see. Shout out to St. Pat in the chat. St. Pat, the architect behind SH4T here. If you super chat, SH4T will animate and move like this. And also there are other super chat levels as well. If you want the Eggy Pocket, or if you want the OnlyFans level, you're gonna have to discover that level yourself. But leave it in the chat if you are going to Celebration and if you plan on meeting all of these celebrity guests. But it was a breath of fresh air and nice to see. At the very least, those guys are going to be attending, and I'm excited. First Celebration for me, I think second for Choco, and like we're gonna meet a whole bunch of people in the community.
We also need to acknowledge that while while those are the celebrity guests, there's a lot of guests that we consider like that's celebrities for most people. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a great many like artists and authors and stuff like that showing up, and I'm excited to see a lot of them.
Yeah, we may see some friends, like that we consider friends, but would be like celebrities in some circles. But yes, can't wait to meet everybody at Celebration right on St. Pat. I mean, it's gonna be an intense, latter week, because like as soon as we get there, we have like 30 people at least minimum that's going to Celebration, and we're gonna meet everyone. Hopefully we're gonna meet everyone. I mean, that's a lot of people to kind of corral for, when they're all spread out like that. When that raffle though, we're still waiting on DePaul to kind of post his raffle video so that we can perpetuate it and duet it and stuff. So we're just gonna have to wait and see for that. I mean, he has the tickets, so it's not really a question of time. But we'll see. Well, I guess it is if somebody needs to book a flight and hotel.
That is true. Yeah.
I think my Ray shirt has been ordered. Right on, Connor. Thank you for the patronage. I need more people to be wearing that High Republic Ray shirt because I'm proud of it, and she looks awesome.
She does look awesome.
Let DJO be there. I need to meet him. I need just to have drinks with him.
He doesn't drink, but he said he'd grab coffee with us.
Yeah. I'll
Sorry, I already asked him.
You already asked him?
Now, I was just curious about like wearing our own like merch and stuff, because it's not officially licensed, and it just seems funny. But no, I have some plans. I have some plans for some new stuff coming out. Plus, my secret cosplay. It's gonna be amazing.
Ooh, a secret cosplay from Choco.
Secret cosplay.
I mean, it's gonna be crazy. I mean, this shouldn't present any issues, really. I mean, not an actual Star Wars logo. I just kind of made it look like it. Yeah, I mean, like the High Republic Ray shirt is a totally original drawing. What were you thinking about in terms of like unofficially licensed merch?
You just never know. You'll find that there's photo shoots and stuff like that where like one member of the cast will have their shirt blurred out, and that's why.
Oh, well.
But yeah, it is what it is.
It shouldn't be a problem. I mean, it's not like
they don't actually care that much.
It's not like this is a huge Nike logo that they have to like worry about.
Yeah.
But they're in cahoots with Nike, right? The Force is female. What's up, Brooke? I can't wait to see everyone's cosplay. Thank you for tuning in, Brooke. Which, I mean, it brings us to far away factory, and I think let me just double check. I think the picture's missing from my hard drive. But do go to etsy.com/farfarawayfactory for all of your Star Wars trinkets, earrings, and jackets, and shirts and shoes. The art is amazing. I have to get an image again from you, Brooke, because I lost my hard drive and lost a lot of assets. I just found out that was one of them. Yeah, thank you.
Also, Brooke, if you wouldn't mind sending me one as well. I talk about your stuff enough. Anyways. So.
It says on your title it's episode 69. Does it?
Nice.
1 second. I thought I updated that.
Let's see here. What else we got popping off in the chat? Don't you have a website now, Brooke? Yeah, Brooke has a website, and we need to get on showing that off and
I think it's
sharing the wealth.
I think it's www.brookedazzler.com.
Yeah.
I need to make an underscore gang website at some point. Just for solidarity. There's nothing going to be on it. It's just going to be like, welcome to the underscore gang. And that's it. And then under services, it'll just be a form to contact nothing. Have you been, I have a contact form on my website, and I've been getting like these like weird contacts from it. Primarily from like, solicitors and stuff. It's weird.
Yeah.
You are in fact a member of the underscore gang. Yes, you are. All right, so let's move on to the Deborah Chow interview talking about Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I think you had something to say about this, Choco, right?
Yeah. So the Deborah Chow interview, I didn't know how in-depth you wanted to get with it. I'm just pulling it back up right now.
I can put it up for you here. Womp.
But yeah, I mean, it mostly goes into, talking about, the return of our favorite characters and this and that. But the thing that I alluded to comes at the end of it.
Towards the end.
Yeah. So there's a specific paragraph I'll read. She said that the question was, what were the feelings for you working with that iconic character? Ewan McGregor told me he couldn't figure out why everyone on set was excited one day, and he looked over and saw Vader and was like, "Aw, F, of course." So the first time I saw him in costume and the full thing going, he's towering over me. He's literally almost twice my size. It felt like it's really intense to have such an iconic character, and then to be directing him, to be doing new scenes with him. So I do remember poor Ewan on that day. He's like, what am I, chopped liver by comparison right now? But I know that for Vader, it's something that almost part of our consciousness, because we've all had it in our lives for so long to actually see him on set. It's pretty sort of significant. It's kind of moving.
Mayak99 became joined Squadron 7.
Hey, Mayak.
Became joined. I need to fix that.
Sorry, what I meant was actually in the next paragraph. For us, it's very similar to Obi-Wan in the sense that he's between these two trilogies. So he isn't the New Hope Vader quite yet. You know what I mean? So we are with the character sort of in the middle of this period. It is still Vader, obviously, but it's a Vader that hasn't quite as fully formed as A New Hope. So that brings me back to when we last met. I was but a learner. He was not fully formed as Vader, fully formed as a Sith. It's kind of like, we saw at the very end of Revenge of the Sith, him learning how to walk with his new robot legs. I feel like that's very much hinting at that is what their final conflict. If we take Kathleen Kennedy's words literally from the shareholders meeting 2 years ago, she said rematch of the century. And if we take her to mean that literally, and we take this line, this is Vader, but he's not fully formed as Vader, then that line to me hits harder and tells me that they are indeed we're going to see that duel. And it's probably just going to end with Obi-Wan peacing out.
Yeah, I'm still not sure about that. Even after that paragraph, I mean, it could always allude to a flashback or a vision fight. They don't fight like for real, but Vader has a vision like in 2017 where he's fighting Obi-Wan again. And he just regularly has those visions. He has to take NyQuil.
Well, so I know, given things in the past, you're already in the hole. But you want to make that interesting. Will they fight physically in the Obi-Wan 6-part series with lightsabers?
I think they will. The context with which they do is probably where we differ.
And I'll specify that with, say, in the present of the show.
Not in a vision, then.
Correct. Not. They will physically fight in the time period of the show.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can take that without having settled the first 2 accounts.
Okay.
I mean, I already. We're looking at the upwards of hundreds of dollars for this trip, so I'll say for now it's a gentleman's bet.
Huzzah!
I mean, if you win, let's see here. I will make a video that you want on TikTok. Anything you want. Except for, it can't be anything like lewd. No OnlyFans videos.
Dang, I was going to suggest helicopter dick.
Jesus. I wouldn't be able to stay afloat or stay on the ground. I'd be like...
I immediately regret this decision.
Well, really quickly, I do want to shout out Matt, Mayak99 for joining Squadron 7. Your patronage is highly appreciated, and I do think you're the killer this round.
He is certainly the killer of me in Gang Beasts. Damn lobster.
Literally, we were playing Goose Goose Duck on Cal's stream. I believe Cal's stream, or it was just Cal's game night, and I was just jokingly saying, I feel like he's the killer this round, and he laughed, and then 10 seconds later he killed me. I was just that I didn't mean to be right. You never want to be right about someone, but there it was.
Yeah, that was the first round with me. I could just tell Cal was the killer. I was like, and it was just funny because my microphone actually wasn't working, and so I thought, but he was there vibing, and I was like, oh, he's the killer. It's like, just go ahead and kill me now. And then he started to leave, and then came back and killed me real quick, and then left. And I was like, okay, yeah, I knew it. Turns out he couldn't hear that, and that was I'm very astute.
It also turns out a lot more people than myself say, please don't kill me before killing you. They're trying to act innocent right before the deed. It's funny. So yeah, if
I don't normally do this, but
if I lose this gentleman's bet, then I will do whatever video you want outside of lewd requests. And I guess if I win, you would have to do the same.
Agreed.
All right. The gentleman's agreement has been agreed upon. You guys are witnesses to the fact. We shall see. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, another thing from that interview that I took away was, you know, the emphasis on the fact that whenever they talk about characters they're going to use, it's a lengthy process. Like, it's never just, I will throw them in there. Like, they have several meetings. They had several meetings before even considering, and then several meetings before deciding that Vader was going to be a part of the show. And even then, several meetings before casting Hayden. So, I mean, if you ever think that project development is like something you kind of slap together like the sequel trilogy and it's like unplanned, there's some like harsh truths you need to come to terms with in your objective reality, because, you know, projects take time. Like, our Dyads and Dragons is taking time to come to fruition, and that's because there's a lot of things to do into the development of it, and we're not a multi-million-dollar, you know, multi-trillion-dollar, billion-dollar company with like a team of like thousands of people. So it was interesting to read that on the interview, that like even the inclusion of Vader and then the casting of Hayden was a lengthy process that they had to commiserate over or ruminate over a long period of time.
How long do you think it took them to get Liam Neeson to come back? It's gonna happen, guys. I can feel it. I can feel it in my plums.
In your plums?
In my plums.
That's interesting.
It's a Will Ferrell quote.
I mean, yes, that's absolutely another thing, Pat, is Echoes of the Past. You know, the art production time, and then the sound production time, and then the video editing after the fact. There's a lot that goes into projects, man. And Cal, you're of no contribution to the delay. There is no delay. We're in pre-production. So, yeah. You know, that's it. People are rolling characters. I'm still doing art for people. So Dyads and Dragons, like, we haven't even like given like a soft launch yet. It was just, hey, this is something that we're gonna do and we're planning and, you know, developing. There's no delay in that part. I mean, not to take the stance that Quantic Dream has taken recently, which is we haven't announced a date, therefore it's not pushed back. But it's true, technically.
Speaking of which, I'm curious, Pep, if you have any interest in playing the game Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Just came out, right? It's the Borderlands 3. However, it's basically the character on that game, Tiny Tina, playing D&D with the characters. And you're playing in that world.
So what's the loop? Is it a first-person shooter, or is it...
Yeah, it's first-person shooter.
But, like, the voices you hear are them, like, rolling for stuff, and...
looks like Cal's gonna be playing that tonight, so I guess you'll get to see it a lot more. I don't exactly know. I know that it was a very small part of Borderlands 2, and then they made a whole DLC about it, and now they have its own fully realized video game. But it's it's as if you are playing first-person shooter inside of someone else's D&D game.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I might be interested. I have to look at like Day from next Friday. I have to check my bank book. I gotta check my bank book. I mean, after all of the accounts are settled for this trip, I'll have to see if that's within my budget, but I should be okay. I should be okay. I mean, like, I mean, I have a bunch of contracts that I'm working on right now. It's just a matter of when, okay? But yeah, I'm thinking of picking up Elden Ring, and I'm thinking of picking up this game if it's a hit to play on stream. Yeah, we'll see.
Also, Ashley Birch as Tiny Tina is amazing. Just saying.
What?
Ashley Birch's performance as Tiny Tina. Of course, the part was literally written for her by her brother, but still.
Yeah. We love Ashley Birch. Escape Reality Film says that's different. At least you guys didn't post all the cool art and stuff only to go, oh, never mind, it's going to be a few years. This is normal production time. I mean, there are going to be teasers posted, you know, in the lead up to the release of the first episode of Dyads and Dragons, but it's not something that we do mid pre-production. We would have a lot of things ready to go. And that way we're not kind of like, this is a teaser for the first episode, and then I'm like, all right, now I need to really work on this episode. I like things, we're gonna like do it, edit it, you know, produce some teasers, and then throw them out there for you guys to hype up. And I'm counting on you, Escape Reality, to hype it up. Do your job. I'm just kidding. But yeah, back to the topic at hand. I think I'm really hopeful for Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think there's little that I know about this show that is making me kind of hesitant to kind of, or at least lose faith. I mean, I think my only true worry is the look of the Inquisitor, the Grand Inquisitor, but I also think that was kind of previs. You know, I don't think that was actually, you know, representative of the final product. But even then, it's a small part of like the gestalt of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, and my thing is, I'm watching it regardless. You know what I mean? Like I'm already in. If I don't like it after the first few, yeah, maybe I'll wait for it to finish and try a binge or something like that. But I'm not gonna sit around and complain about something I know I am going to watch. I feel like that's really weird.
I knew I was going to watch it, only knowing that it would be Obi-Wan on Tatooine. But then after the trailer, it's like, oh, we're going like other places. There's going to be antagonists and stuff and foils that Obi-Wan will have to fight. Like, it's going to be more interesting. But before the teaser, you know, all we had was 19 years on Tatooine, fighting some Tuskens and, you know, saving Luke, and then that's it. So it's just a day in the life of Obi-Wan. I'll watch it. But then the show looks even better. So, yeah.
And parts of what we have been revealed make me believe that this is going to be a long walk down memory lane for Obi-Wan, knowing that most of the Inquisitors, all the ones we fully know about, are Jedi that were returned, and seeing, you know, Obi-Wan fought tooth and nail to get back into the temple in order to flip the signal around saying to run away. Can you imagine only to be hunted by former colleagues, by people he would know? That's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah. Let's see here. Ashley Birch in general is just a gem and a half. She is. You can also see her in Mythic Quest. Right? That is her, isn't she?
Yeah, that's her in Mythic Quest.
Yeah, I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I have no doubt that it's going to be, you know, at the end of the day, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan is all I kind of need in the show. And everything else is kind of bonus because we know what his situation is like. Whatever we get outside of that situation is extra. So, moving on to Shadow of the Sith. Do we want to
Yay.
read this with everyone, or are we going to assume that people have read it?
How about I feel like we need to read it because I have a feeling people in the audience haven't, and the way it hits, I think, needs to be read to experience the hit. You know?
Yeah, okay. So this is an 8-page excerpt from Shadow of the Sith, and I'll bring that up here, which is coming out June 28th. This cover, absolutely spectacular. And I've actually recreated the logo in Photoshop, so if anybody needs that logo in Vector, I got you. But let's sit down and read it. Let's sit down and read it for Escape Reality and for Bruce Greatstorm, and yeah, let's see what this is all about. Where does it start here? Let's zoom in for everyone. There was a bang, more like a thunderclap, and everything went black. The breeze dropped, the air still and warm. Luke took a breath and could... Let me read it as like an audiobook at 1x. Luke took a breath and could taste dry dust.
Please don't.
His tongue. And then he realized he wasn't sitting on the Seeing Stone anymore. Tython was gone. He looked down. He was standing now on black dirt, hard-packed, cracked, coated with dust that swirled in eddies around his boots. He looked up. The world was black and dry, the sky dark and filled with roiling black clouds, lit by constant flashes of lightning that shorted directly down into the ground. If it was day or night, Luke couldn't tell. The place was both light and dark at the same time, the vast, flat plain of black stone lit evenly from a sun that wasn't there. Luke took another breath, the taste getting stronger in his mouth. Already his eyes were drying out. The atmosphere, the ground, the whole place was so old, so desiccated. He knew immediately where he was. He had been there many times recently, this nightmare landscape of his visions. Only now he knew its name. This was Exegol, the hidden world of Sith only whispered about in ancient texts, a place reachable only with a wayfinder. And by meditation, Luke took a step forward, finding the ground solid and most definitely real under his feet. He walked a small and slow circle, eyes at the horizon. Lightning flashed, lighting the farther reaches of the plain, revealing it to be featureless and dead. The same place as his visions, but this felt different. This felt real. Could he have been transported? Luke frowned, his mind racing along with his heart. True enough, he didn't know the full extent of the powers of the Seeing Stone. He had researched the place for years. Wow, that felt British. He had researched the place for years, but he had never actually used the stone for its ancient purpose, to commune directly with the Force. He knew himself what a powerful Jedi he had become, what untapped potential he still had within himself despite, or perhaps because of, his years of self-directed, masterless training. Had he done it? He had the holocron, or what was left of it, and the kyber crystals. Was there enough of the holocron data core left for the Seeing Stone to have been able to read it somehow, taking him to where the original owner had failed to reach all those centuries ago? And what about the kyber crystals? They resonated with the Force, the very structure in a natural, sympathetic vibration with it. Were they the catalyst, making the journey possible? Was that what the original pilot had tried, combining two very different forms of Sith power to overcome their lack of a true wayfinder? It was then that a far more important question entered Luke's head. Could he get back to Tython? Then he spun, ducking instinctively as something brushed past the hood of his robe, strong enough to shift the heavy fabric over his shoulder. There was nobody behind him. He turned the circle again, and he was alone on the plain, the air perfectly still, the caustic sour taste growing ever stronger in his mouth. Again, something brushing past him, this time with a distinct whoosh of the dry air and the sound of someone's feet scraping along the hard ground. Luke ducked out of the way again, moving a few meters from his original position. Looking down, he saw his footprints in the dust. It was hardly an impression, but enough for him to see his own tracks. The tracks of someone or something else. Two large arcs, not footsteps, but the signs of something being dragged along the ground on opposite sides of where Luke had just been standing. He looked up, turning slowly to see all around him. There was no place to hide, no rocks, no buildings, nothing. Luke could see from horizon to empty horizon. Lightning flashed, and then he saw it. Just for an instant, it was as if it was lit up by the electrical storm. A figure, a fair distance away, perhaps 100 meters, and then it was gone. Before Luke could register any features or form at all. "Hello?" he called out. Feeling slightly foolish, he tried again. "Who's there?" Again, the sound, louder now, and he felt something physically push his back. He went with the movement to keep his own footing, moved forward farther, then spun around, his hand whipping his lightsaber from his belt and presenting it in one smooth, fluid movement. He paused, feet spread, weight low, the defensive position that was as instinctive as automatic for him as breathing. Luke was surrounded. They were tall, thin. 9 of them, nothing more than wraiths, nothing more than shadows. Tall, thin ghosts, their bodies curved and arced in a new wind that had picked up, a wind that gusted across the black plain, changing direction constantly. Luke adjusted his grip on his lightsaber and thumbed the activator. With a searing swoosh, the green blade ignited, illuminating a large circle around Luke and the wraiths, lighting the ashy dust that swirled in the air like a halo. Luke braced himself, because these weren't ghosts or shadows or wraiths, they were very real. With each flash of lightning in the dark sky above, the wraiths were lit as solid, three-dimensional figures, black-robed, bandage-faced. It was disorienting. Luke narrowed his eyes as he focused. The foes surrounding him, flashing between translucent, billowing shadows and solid humanoid figures. Then they began to circle him. They kept the same distance from Luke and from one another as they moved, all of them keeping their front facing this intruder into their world. Luke, balanced on the balls of his feet, fingers adjusting, readjusting on the grip of his lightsaber, was ready for the attack he knew was coming, all the while his mind racing. How did I get here? And how do I get back? And then the wraiths, moving in unison as though some unseen, unheard communication had passed among them, reached into robes that were in one instant eddies of ash and in the next flash of lightning a heavy, woven black textile, and pulled out lightsabers of their own. Choco, do you mind taking the next?
Yes. I will in just a moment.
Hello, Eggie!
Okay. Luke, with his years of experience learning to master his emotions and control his actions, did not allow the sight of these 9 weapons to surprise him, because, of course, they had lightsabers. He was on Exegol, the Sith world, the heart of darkness. He had dared to see into the planet with the Force, and was now here, in physical reality, facing 9 embodiments of the dark side who clearly wanted their existence to remain hidden. The wraiths lift their lightsabers and activated them. Luke didn't so much hear their ignition as feel it inside. The familiar sound, somehow high-pitched and distant, a half-forgotten memory rather than an actual physical sensation. The wraiths lifted their blades, ready to meet Luke's, but they were nothing, mere black outlines against the black figures standing on the black ground under a black sky. But when lightning flashed, the 9 blades were inverted, a negative flash of white that made spots dance in Luke's eyes, dazzled. Luke's control slipped for just a moment, and he took an involuntary half-step backward. It was what the Wraiths had been waiting for. They rushed at him in silence, their robes of shadow ash disintegrating in the wind as they moved, their whole bodies becoming insubstantial, particulate matter that blew away in the breeze. And then the lightning flashed, and Luke was surrounded by 9 very real, very solid black-clad figures swinging lightsabers of blinding, impossible light. Driven by instinct, guided by his connection to the Force, Luke parried the first blows, his lightsaber connecting with his enemies with a familiar high-energy splash. But with the lightning flashing, along with the 9 black-white blades of his enemies, Luke soon found that he was effectively fighting blind. His vision, nothing but purple spots and red smears. But Luke Skywalker did not panic, did not fear. Deflecting another attack, Luke closed his eyes and let out a breath. He didn't need eyes to see his enemies. All he had to do was look inward, to feel the Force flow through him, to feel its connection with him and the galaxy and all the beings that live within. I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me. The next attack was parried with perfection. Luke's riposte was likewise textbook example of the Jedi form. But then his blade passed through nothing. Luke didn't open his eyes. He just bowed his head, spinning on the spot to counter their attacks coming from the other side while he concentrated, trying to enter an almost meditative state so he could press an attack rather than let the Force guide him merely through a passive, automatic defense. And then he faltered. A frown flickered across his face as he reached out with the Force, and there was nothing. No connection, no feeling. It was as though he was still on Tython, on the Seeing Stone, at the center of a grace where the Force coalesced around him, but not within him. The beings around him, 9 shadow wraiths with blades of light and dark, did not exist in the Force. They had no presence, no form. This was impossible. The Force connected all life in the galaxy, but it also surrounded and penetrated the inanimate objects. Rocks, plants, starships, droids, everything had a presence in the Force, or rather, an absence that could be felt as strongly as if they were living things themselves. But the wraiths were nothing. Luke couldn't sense them with the Force at all. He turned left, then right, lightsaber swinging up, then down, then out, parrying 3 more blows, but blinded and unable to sense his opponents, he was unable to attack. He might as well just be swinging randomly at the air around him, which he did. He opened his eyes, squinting against the flashes of lightning in the searing sweeps of the wraith blades. His own green lightsaber, the only thing that was familiar, the only color in his nightmare. But that faithful lightsaber could do nothing against the wraiths. He blocked a blow. His eyes and brain began to adjust, very slightly, to the disorienting world around him. And then it came in with an attack, high, then low, completely avoiding his opponent's blade. But his lightsaber passed through the wraith, dragging a wake of ash behind it, lit in the glowing green lightsaber of Luke's laser sword. The wraith didn't... Or, you want to take over?
I was planning to because of that pause, that long pause.
Oh, that was me collecting spit.
Okay. The wraith didn't even seem to notice. It brought its blade up and Luke parried again, ducked sideways, and parried a blow from his left side. Swung the lightsaber to the right to counter another, then carved a series of angled attacks that should have cut the 3 opponents in front of him to ribbons. His blade met no resistance. On the contrary, the wraith directly in front of him stepped into his attack, apparently unaware or unconcerned as to the position of Luke's blade. Luke didn't stop moving. He dodged the shadow blade of the wraith even as he passed through the being himself. The cloud of ash and dust thick around his face, coating his skin, his tongue, filling his mouth with the taste of hot metal. Now, behind the group, he turned and pressed a fresh attack to their rear, swinging his lightsaber left and left again, blocking the thrust of a shadow blade as one wraith turned in a whirlwind of spinning black smoke and brought its weapons to bear. Once again, lightsaber met lightsaber. Green light met Shadow Blade, and Luke could feel the jolt through the hilt of his own weapon. Could see the fizz of energy as his blade slid along the length of his enemies before the wraith pulled away in one direction and Luke in the other, both then turning to cut in at a sharp angle. Blade met blade again, this time with a bang of spitting plasma, as though the wraiths were toying with him. One moment their weapons real, the next a shadowed imitation of reality. Sensing this change, Luke's next blow was powerful enough to knock the other blade away, and he quickly made his riposte, straight through the neck and torso.
DePaul super chatted $5, dropping some love. What up, Star Wars family?
Shout out to DePaul for invoking the Eggy and Luke Eggin laugh. Thank you for the $5 ramen drop, dropping some love. What's up, Star Wars family? We are reading the Shadow of the Sith excerpt. And we are almost done here. So you are just in time.
But we can always appreciate the laughter of two eggs in this trying time.
Yes, absolutely. The dual egg. But just to catch you up, DePaul, if you haven't been here or you're just tuning in, Luke is using the Seeing Stone on Tython to transport himself to the world of Exegol. We don't know how it works, but he is currently fighting a wraith. But here we go. Sensing this change, Luke's next blow was powerful enough to knock the other blade away, and he quickly made his riposte straight through the neck and torso of the apparition. Once again, his blade met nothing. The shadow form parted like smoke, even as lightning flashed again, and the being was as solid as Luke's own body. Luke swung again, and again, and again, sweeping now with his blade with no particular intent or design except to keep the 9 wraiths at a distance. His focus now not on the fight, but on figuring a way out. The wraiths pressed their attack, Luke's blade passing harmlessly through them as they got closer and closer. They raised their own lightsabers again, acting together in telepathic union, ready to make their final strike. 9 blades against 1. Luke didn't like the odds, but he braced himself nonetheless. The wraiths attacked, 9 shadow blades held by shadow arms cutting down at speed. And that was when a new light appeared. Not the white flash of lightning, or the wraith blades as they were lit by the unholy light, not the green glow of Luke's lightsaber, illuminating the ashy ground like a green flashlight. No, this was a pale blue. It shimmered in the air, streaking a little, it swept down, throwing the attackers off in one smooth movement. It was a lightsaber, the blade blue and strong. The hilt was transparent, nothing but a blue glow held in a transparent blue hand. Luke fell backward onto his elbows and gasped at the pain in his joints and also in sheer surprise at the sight before him. Standing between himself and the wraiths was another figure, a man in flowing pale robes, his back to Luke, his head hidden under a voluminous hood. The entire figure glowed like soft electricity, bright in this world of endless night. When the lightning flashed, Luke could see the 9 solid wraiths through the form of the man who stood between them and their quarry. Luke's mind raced as he tried to identify the spirit of the Force who had arrived to protect him. Ben? No, it wasn't Ben. The robe, the man's form, was... The spectral being lifted his lightsaber, holding it high above his head, the blade parallel to the ground. For the first time, the wraiths seemed to take note of their enemy. They backed away, 9 forms huddling together, blades lowered. They were screaming from their blank bandaged faces, although Luke wasn't sure whether it was real sound or just an echo inside his head. It was hard to concentrate on what he was seeing, the way the Force reverberated around the figure in blue. His entire vision seemed to buckle around him. The wraiths continued to back away, and then they vanished, their shadow shapes evaporating into dust that spun away on the last eddy of the dying wind. For a moment, all was still. Then the blue figure turned around, his lightsaber extinguished. Choco.
Then Luke pushed himself up onto his elbows. He blinked. It couldn't be. It couldn't be. The blue figure lifted his hood back to reveal the strong, sharp face of a young man, his gaze intense beneath a furrowed brow that was bisected by a straight, vertical scar. His thick hair was shoulder length and had a slight wave to it. Anakin Skywalker reached out his hand. Luke took it, and everything went white.
This podcast now hosted by Green Bottle. Jesus. How was that for you, Trago?
Man, reading that earlier when I hit that end bit, I was just like, what? What?
Yeah. It had that effect. So we officially know in canon, it's not canon yet, it has to be published, but we know canonically that as soon as this book comes out, Luke and Anakin have a moment, and it's incredible. This is also one of those questions, right, that have been kind of chasing us ever since we started lore. Did Luke ever meet Ahsoka? This one, did Anakin ever come back as a ghost to help Luke? And this is the exact situation. What I'm wondering now is, what about the context of this situation warrants a ghost interfering?
The nature of the fight.
Yeah.
So Force Ghosts don't, necessarily get involved to help guide events of the living. But they don't necessarily get involved, and we don't know the full parameters of what they can and can't do. We do know that they can produce physical bodies. We see Obi-Wan, brush aside leaves and stuff and sit on a log. They don't fall through the earth for one thing. But we don't know the extent, because it does seem to flicker between corporeal and non-corporeal. Well, Luke is facing enemies that do the same thing. And unlike the enemies on the movie Shazam, they don't at some point just forget that they can become intangible. I'll never understand how the end of that fight worked. They just forgot or whatever. They're just like, oh, okay, we'll just beat them now, I guess. But anyways, that nature is why a Force Ghost had to be involved. I think it's because he was accessing it through the Force, and there are somehow the Jedi who have retained their consciousness are somehow gatekeepers of the living Force.
The one thing that strikes me is that he is holding a lightsaber, and he is parrying those blades. Does this create an outlier in the Force Ghost lore that Anakin, being a virgin, he could do more than others?
Yeah, it could be possible that Anakin was the only person capable of doing it, being a virgin, because a virgin's presence is both in the Force and in reality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Or he's still in the dark side and he's just drawing on the exegol. Just kidding. That would break all kinds of things. But this is exciting. Shadow of the Sith by Adam Christopher comes out June 28th. Pre-order it. It'll be, at the very least, right now, our first Luke and Anakin conversation that was only hinted at in Secrets of the Jedi. We did know that they spoke. That was never like an unknown because of Secrets of the Jedi, but this would be an interesting book in kind of seeing how this interaction goes, and what knowledge and wisdom does Anakin impart to Luke from the world between worlds. And if what we know of the lore of Force Ghosts remains consistent, if Anakin is just like, well, I need Luke to survive this so I can assist him here, but I can't tell him about what's like further deeper within Exegol.
Or does he know what's further or deeper within Exegol, like to the fullest extent? Obviously he's been to Exegol before, but how much does he know about the Emperor's presence there? Does he know? Does he just know? Because that's one thing that I'm always curious about. Does he saw Palpatine's experiments and things there. He saw an incompleted fleet, but does he know more? What do you think?
I mean, there's no way he could know Palpatine's end goals or end game. He sees the fleet there, but the thing that comes to mind every time someone asks why didn't Vader warn Luke about things is that it's not only just Exegol. Like, Anakin knows the Empire's, like, at the very least 99.9% of the Empire's kind of arsenal across the galaxy. So why doesn't he warn Luke about everything else, like the aftermath and all of the stuff that happens after Return of the Jedi could have been prevented, right? I mean, there's a lot of information that Force Ghosts have that I have access to that the knowledge that they had in the living makes irrelevant. Because once they are Force Ghosts, they're like, oh, okay. They just know.
They join a collective consciousness, which can mean a number of things. But yeah, are there things that now that they can see the fullest extent, stuff that we can't see, even the people watching Star Wars, it changes what they're like, oh, that's not important at all. And you're like, it's kind of important to me personally. And you're like, yeah, but I'm talking like the grand like conclusion of all things. That's what I'm trying to avoid. Or are there things that they know and withhold because they're guiding people and things to get to a certain place? And if Luke, the 19-year-old whiny kid on Tatooine, was told, oh yeah, Vader, the most fearsome person in the galaxy, is your father, he's not actually would Luke run home screaming? Would he have accepted it? Would he think Ben was lying? Like some of this stuff had to be paced out and told to him at a certain way, at a certain rate, because the information could have been harmful to him. And even Obi-Wan during the living could understand that. Just like your parents will probably tell you different things now than they did when you were 6. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is the implications of this excerpt is far and wide. We're definitely going to need the whole context of this situation, but it's great to see that the situation where this occurrence occurred. Jacobo, how much do I have to donate? I mean, you don't have to donate anything. If you're asking to support, I would heavily encourage you to become a Squadron 7 member, because that's the best way to support this channel. As you see, others have a 7 by their names. That is easily the best way to support the channel. But yeah, you can buy merch too. But you don't really have to do anything. You tuning in is just as much support. and we appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can kind of start to slowly wrap up with our open forum and kind of, if you are in the chat right now, go ahead and, let us know what you guys want to talk about. If you have any questions you want us to answer, you've got the Dyad. You've got our 2 TikTok channels combined in this live stream right now.
Absolutely.
And we'll be heavily incentivized to answer super chats. Stay hustling.
I mean, whew, we got a lot of stuff ahead of us, and it's funny because we were getting all these High Republic books, which are amazing. Still waiting on one last thing from the High Republic from this phase. So, I still need that manga. I still need part 2.
That's right, volume 2. It's out right now still. I mean, on digital, but yeah, we guys. I mean, I have a copy of that and Brotherhood incoming, so I'm still waiting for that.
Supposedly Brotherhood should get to me sometime soon, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the word on the street is, we should be getting Brotherhood in volume 2. We'll see. There's a lot of books. There's a lot. I mean, I'm gonna have to at some point reach out for this. Shout out to our friends at Lucasfilm Publishing.
Absolutely.
Would you want Qui-Gon to speak to Luke? I feel like Qui-Gon doesn't know Luke.
Yeah, I mean, so we also have to kind of recognize what stuff is for us and what stuff is for the characters. You know what I mean? So I love stuff. I love fan services only as far as it has to make sense. Like Luke meeting Elzar Mann was awesome. I loved it, and felt like it was for us, but it made sense on his journey, who he met, the nature of their conversation, and that this was just like a strange Jedi. We just happened to have context on it. If he met Qui-Gon, I would hope it'd be very much in the same way, and I think that would be amazing. But it'd be super weird if he meets him and they're like, Qui-Gon! He's like, yeah, I'm like your grandfather in the Force, or whatever. We also have to recognize Qui-Gon didn't actually train. He'd be like his great grandfather in the Force.
Realistically, Qui-Gon didn't really do much with Anakin aside from take him to the temple, and then he said, find somewhere safe, stay there.
But I mean, he did train Obi-Wan, right? So I'm sure Obi-Wan has passed down nuggets of information, but we don't, like this would be, yeah, I would love that too. Never mind, I retract my statement. And I say that because I would absolutely love if like a Force Ghost Mace Windu spoke to Ezra. I would lose my crap if that's the same situation. That's his great grand Force father.
I mean, as far as the question goes, would I want Qui-Gon to speak to Luke? If Qui-Gon showed up in a setting where Luke was studying the Jedi Order in ancient texts, then yes. Like similarly to with how he met Elzar Mann. But as far as Qui-Gon showing up like out of nowhere to Luke, I feel like that's a little bit like, why would that happen? So we'll see.
Yeah, as long as we have good reasons for it, I am more than game.
Yes. Any idea or any theories on what surprises we may get at Celebration? You know what? Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure Ewan and Hayden might be a surprise.
Yeah, it's not like they're still filling the show. I don't know what else. I mean, we can check to see if they're in pre-production on anything else, but I feel like they've got to be there.
I feel like
But-
a panel with Ashley and Rosario would be a neat surprise. It's just called the Two Ahsokas panel. What were you gonna say?
What if they instead a big old panel and they also had because you know who hosts, at least at the last one I went to, they had the same host for most of the panels, and the host was James Arnold Taylor, and I would love James Arnold Taylor and Ewan McGregor to be in there. You know what I mean? Like,
Is that a dyad moment, but like separate branches?
pretty much. But like they could go full out and have Matt Lantern, like Lantner.
Lantern?
I can't say his name. Lantern, whatever.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That is such a like an inception right there. Just a panel of like Anakin's, a panel of Obi-Wan's, and a panel of Ahsoka's. Like we have the trio, live action and voice. Now, that's crazy to think about.
Mark Hamill walking around in costume. I feel like Mark Hamill would show up and he would walk around in costume.
Yeah, that's true. Would we get? No, we wouldn't get that. Sorry, I'm not gonna say it. Maybe I will say it for context. I didn't. I was going to suggest maybe we'll get Whitwer and Ray Park, but I don't think.
I don't think Ray Park's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, he might. Never mind. Miss Aggie says, "What book are you guys looking forward to most this year? Most looking forward to this year?"
Phase 2, Book 1. It's gotta be
this one, Seekers of the Sith.
Shadow of the Sith.
Shadows of the Sith. Yeah.
I mean,
Seekers
I'm
of the
excited.
Sith is also good.
I am
But-
equally excited for it, but my mind on High Republic right now.
My mind is telling me no, but my
And,
body. Sorry.
the fact that we're going back in time is just like more appealing to me. Like, I have to stay consistent with my wants, and the fact that like I was like, we need to kind of move away from the Skywalkers, even though I love that we're getting these books. Just like my personal tastes now are all about the new stories, and so I'm more excited about Phase 2 of the High Republic. But Shadow of the Sith, Brotherhood, many of these books are freaking incredible. I'm assuming this excerpt kind of is hyping this one up absolutely. So I guess I'm just gonna say, as a lore master or as a lore person, I'm excited for all of the books equally. But my most anticipated book would be Phase 2. I'm gonna categorize them differently. My most anticipated book is Phase 2 of the High Republic, and what I'm looking forward to the most and what I'm most excited about is all of them.
Also, Claudia Gray is writing a High Republic comic.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's new.
Mm-hmm. And that goes into like being excited for Phase 2 because we have new authors coming in.
Yeah. So far, like Zoradia, we've only read Crash of Fates. Was that Zoradia? The authors, new authors being added was George Mann and Zoradia Cordova. And I want to say there's
Grattan.
one more. Tessa Granton, yes. And Zoradia wrote A Crash of Fate, I thought. Is that incorrect?
I'd have to look it up again. I can't recall from the top of my head.
Yes, she Zoraida did write A Crash of Fate, as well as a short story in From a Certain Point of View. George Mann wrote several of these, but that other weird Dark Side book that came out last year.
The other Dark
With
Side?
Darth Kaldoth.
Oh. Dark Legends?
Yes. Yeah, that was George Mann.
Yeah.
But Tessa Gratton, I'm not familiar with her writing.
I'm like truthfully not familiar with most of the authors that they added. I wasn't familiar with GJO until the Hieroglyph, which I'm thankful for. Oh, he did Showdown at the Fair too. Didn't he also do Life Day?
Yes.
Well, I mean, Star Wars books is just going strong.
What's funny is I recognize DJO because he reads his own audiobooks.
Really?
So going through the audio version of and he has a very unique voice. So listening to the audio version of From a Certain Point of View, Empire Strike or A New Hope, I really recognize the story of a specific stormtrooper, the one that gets mind tricked, and he ends up like his story ends with him like running off naked into the desert, or like riding you back into the desert. it's a wild ride, but
Did he read Last Shot?
He read the Young Han portions of Last Shot. It was read by 3 different readers, depending on which era you were looking into. But I immediately picked up on his voice when I saw it. I was like, "Oh, I love this guy."
Shout out to GJO, good friend of the channel. We still have so many people to get on Dyad. We have Claudia Gray, Justina Ireland, Christina Ariel, Soul Kevin. If you guys know these people personally, please reach out for us. EK Johnson, for sure. Just a lot of people we need to talk to. Anybody else got a topic you want to talk about? We do have a couple minutes left. Connor says, what y'all two got upcoming this week? Give us a scoop. Well, this week is done. So I kind of feel like what I've got upcoming this week is to end the stream. But okay, I'll stop being a smart aleck. Not much going on next week. I'm probably gonna start either playing. I'm gonna do a playthrough of Life is Strange 2 on Monday. Yeah, that's it for me. And then of course, more content on TikTok. So as always.
Yeah, and so it is looking like there will be no episode of The High Ground this week.
That's right too. That's right. I guess what we can say about this upcoming week is that the Dyad will be in person again.
Yes.
Briefly.
Yes, I will be in LA on Wednesday evening. Who knows? I might throw together a little small stream or something like that, just to talk. That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Live on TikTok.
Using that 5G.
Yes. Using that what? What did we get? Like
Jesus, my upload
400
speed.
up? Was that 400?
The upload speed was like redonkulous. I don't even use the word redonkulous because nothing to me is redonkulous except this.
I just remember or love how we discovered that, because we were like posting answers to questions on TikTok and I was like, okay, post up. Like, my videos don't normally go up that quick. I did a speed test. I was like, holy hell. Yeah, we'll go live. We'll go live on Wednesday next week, I guess, in place of a high ground, and then use that 5G. And yeah, the Dyad will be in person again. And then after that will be Star Wars Celebration. But yeah, I mean, I was about to ask you, do you have what's on high ground?
Other than that, I will say, so work has been kicking my butt, big time. But I am, and I know I keep saying this, and I apologize, but I am trying to do a big content push leading up to Celebration. So hopefully you'll be seeing a lot more from me and a lot better stuff. Also, some more varied stuff. Recently, myself, Pep, and great friend of the channel Sawyer did a reading of some Moon Knight stuff. I actually posted the raw video for my subscribers on my YouTube channel. So if you wanna see that and all of our jokes and stuff in between, go ahead and check that out. But I'll be cutting that up and posting those videos shortly. And yeah, I'll be talking about more stuff that's relevant to the comics and just things I'm interested in that's dropping, because sometimes I'm bursting out of scenes to talk about more stuff. Yeah. Like if you're playing Elden Ring, you better get the Black Knife Tish summon. That thing is broke as hell. I mean, anyways.
You should also be like Choco and cheese the hell out of the game to get to level 140 or something.
Oh, I've cheesed so much, and now I'm playing it, and I'm just walking through like God mode. But the cool thing about the game is cheese whatever you want. Even medium enemies will still knock you down on like 6 good hits. So it's all relative. What's funny is even that summon, the Black Knife Tish, I was cheesing it and it got out. I got it in this little corner, and I could 2-hit slap it and let my stamina recover just enough to do it again and keep it stun locked. and I got it like a third of the way down, and it got out, and I was like, oh crap, because I was not leveled for this thing. But so I had to fight it straight up, and I won. And I was like, oh, I guess I do know.
Wait, was that the one shooting like those big plasma arrows at you?
No, I beat that boss as well, and I actually was over leveled, but I didn't realize I was supposed to summon like 10 other people on that battleground. I was fighting him solo and almost got him two-thirds the way down. So I was actually killing it that fight doing it solo.
Yeah. Hanky says Choco Elden Ring stream when?
Oh man. Yeah, maybe upcoming. That'd be fun. You guys can watch my sadness as I get railed upon by some of these bigger bosses. But I'm telling you, this summon, Black Knife Tish, exquisite.
Eggy, join me on Monday and Tuesday for Life is Strange 2 stream. I don't know if you're familiar with that game, but very choice-heavy game. Very consequence-y game. If that's a word. DePaul playing Elden Ring as he watches us. Very nice.
Nice.
I saw 15 copies of Elden Ring returned in my local Walmart. There were probably players who cheesed like Choco and then thought the power fantasy was a persistent thing, but realized there's no power fantasy in Elden Ring.
The game reminds me a lot. Ooh, what's all this then? The game reminds me a lot of
Fergus
Ninja
Snowy
Gaiden
subscribed
Black.
to the channel.
Hello and welcome. It reminds me a lot of Ninja Gaiden Black, the game, like a lot. And the reason I even played that game was my friend was like, "This game's too hard for me. Please, I don't want it anymore." so, so I kind of get that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Hogwarts Legacy, as well. I'm definitely gonna stream that. Also, Lego, Skywalker Saga, for sure gonna stream that. I think we might have some co-streams as well planned in the future. But I mean, man, I wish I could stream everything. Gosh, I don't know how those guys do it. But it's looking like it's the end of this episode. Just another chill stream with Dyad in the Force and Squadron 7 and Choco Lights. I don't remember what your fandom was called. Was it Choco Nights? Choco Bites?
I kind of like Chocolites because it's almost like acolytes, but I almost feel weird with like, I don't want it to sound sycophantic or something weird. You know what I mean? Like, we're just all friends. And just to kind of go back, one of the things I'm most looking forward to this year is hanging out with all of y'all. Yeah. You know, meeting Camilla and Xanthi was awesome. I'm even debating grabbing like a day ticket to come up for WonderCon because I know a ton of my mutual are going to be up there as well. But that's cool just to meet these people and chill for a little bit. You know, y'all are wonderful.
Everyone's wonderful. Thank you for subscribing, by the way, Fergus Snowy. How is Luke able to master lightsaber combat without long-term training from an actual master? So we never really hot chocolates. We never really get a profession or a proclamation that Luke mastered lightsaber combat. Theoretically, he's had his training from a whole bunch of different sources. Some on hands-on and some off, and some through holocron. So I mean, I call Luke the YouTube Jedi.
I think we get a bit of that here in this excerpt. In this excerpt, he talks about letting the Force flow through him and being an automatic defense, you know, moving him into automatic defensive positions, and then him kind of taking over to go on the aggressive. I think the most important portion of any Jedi's training is just learning how to commune with the Force and letting the Force flow through them. I think it takes less than a year to learn that. I'm going to say that straight up. You know, there's yes. In the prequels, the Jedi trained for years and decades. But what are they training? It's not combat, because they weren't meant for combat. They weren't meant as warriors. They're meant as diplomats. I would bet anything that the vast majority of their training is learning laws and policies and different planets and different species and botany and survival skills, and diplomacy and political science. You know, I would bet that's the vast majority of what they learn. And the lightsaber training is just a little bit extra, because to them it was always ceremonial. Honestly,
I chalk it up to it being the same as the regular education system. Lightsaber combat is PE. You know, we learn sports and athletic stuff in school, but the rest of our school day is humdrum of math, sciences, the life skills that we are never going to use practically.
And then one last bit is, please also remember that the fights in Star Wars are narrative. They're narrative. They're about the story. Like, on paper, there was no way in hell Luke like faces Vader in Empire and gets owned, and then a year later beats him. There's no way he overcomes, decades of training in both the light and the dark with the most powerful Jedi of all time, who's ranked the top, depending on what source you look at, in lightsaber combat. There's no way he beats him straight up, right? Or maybe he does, and he's just the best. Or maybe the story is the story, and they were telling a story, and that's why he won.
Have a good night, Aggie.
Love you, Aggie.
But back to the original question. I mean, I don't think that Luke ever mastered lightsaber combat. He even says in the excerpt that we read that he was coming to terms with the fact that he is self-trained and masterless. So, it all depends. Like, given the fact that there's not many threats during the time of his more potent training after Return of the Jedi, I mean, it's like a master of martial arts that never spars, right? So it's just really kind of what practical experience does he have? So I don't think he's a master of lightsaber combat, and I don't think they ever tell you that he is. But out of everybody that's living that knows lightsaber combat, presumably, he's probably the best. I mean, especially if Ahsoka is no longer, at that time. I don't want to say the words. But yeah. That'll do it for today's episode of Dyad in the Force. Thank you guys for tuning in and asking your... Yeah. Shout out to Aggie. And asking your questions for our open forum. We are out of time. And we look forward to next week when we are joined by Mark Hamill. I'm sorry we ran out of time. We couldn't bring you out this week, but we'll try to find some time next week to bring Hamill back and hopefully squeeze him into the episode. But that's it. I mean, thank you to our Squadron 7 members for supporting the channel. You guys are the best. We have St. Pat, Xanatos, Pi, Casco Hecho, Grandmaster Bale, Harith DePaul, Mentally Ill Sith Lord, Gray, Levi, Masa, X-Core Gamer Skills, Cal4, Cartoon2, Corellia Coffee Works, Johnsky, Julia Christine, Booba Fett, Master Yoro, Brian with the Beard, Darth Choco, Jordy Jedi, Arya L, Escape Reality, Scholar, Lawyer, Dazzler, Luke, Mabe, Mara J, Bariqua Wookie, Camilla, Sodaman, Forward into the Black, Nedrext, Steward of Ostagar. Every time I read that name, I subconsciously want to say Steward of Gondor. Jonathan P.
I think of Stewart from Mad TV.
Bruce Greatstorm, and spiritually, Malik or the Jedi Smark. Thank you guys so much for the support, and thank you guys for tuning in. And thank you, Connor, for using all of those emotes. That's what you get for signing up to be a Squadron 7 pilot. And of course, again, another reminder for in the next 2 weeks, April 8th is Choco's watch along, his first viewing of Deathly Hallows Part 1. So definitely consider becoming a member if you have not become a member. And if you are currently a member, don't forget to join the public Discord and connect your accounts so you guys can access that channel. But that is the end. On to the next one.
For light and for life.
We are all the Republic.
And may the Force be with you.
Do or do not. There is no try. there is no try. Do or do not. There is no try.